All right, welcome back to Finding Truth podcast here on Unscripted Truth TV, episode 33. Some juicy number for us. Another master number coming at you. We just, with that many threes, we ought to talk about the other three, the big 30 you just celebrated last week, and got to go
Yep.
out to your neck of the woods and bounce around. We went to Sky Zone. Was able to bring my son. Had a good time. Uh, so that was cool. Other than that, like as far as what this episode will entail, headline wise, and what we'll be talking about, the headline's been kind of dry. I know there was like the Kentucky Derby, but it's just we do talk about things that we care about. I know that there's headlines that we cover and we might not necessarily care about, but like I just don't think it's up either of our alleys. At least this year, the Kentucky Derby. So uh, other than that, there hasn't. It's kind of dry in the well was kind of dried up this week. Um, Maybe there were some plane crashes, but who cares at this point? And but yeah, we did have the NASCAR race. We will cover that here shortly to kick things off, and then I think we're gonna have a nice little candid discussion on relationships, and we'll attack it from a few different angles. Personally, I think I'd like to mostly talk about maybe not mostly, but initially talk about like family and that side of things with relationships, and then you know Austin will have what he wants to talk about. We'll rebuttal. We'll see where we meet in the middle. We'll see where we're at different ends of the spectrum on things, and we'll just air it out. It sounds like, but yeah. Without further ado, I'll send it down to the big 30-year-old. How's it going, bud?
Yeah, the big 30-31. What a start, eh? We had the big celebration at the trampoline park, and yeah, we celebrated there on the 30th and stuff, and or the 29th, and yeah, it was a really fun day. It was a fun time, and like I said, I always like going there, enjoy going there and stuff, and yeah, it was nice to it's been such a long time since I had a birthday that I didn't kind of spend alone. I think it maybe like probably my 21st birthday when I came out to Washington was probably the last time I probably celebrated with anybody for my birthday. So it's probably been about 9 years. Um, Probably haven't really been with anyone on my birthday in probably 8 years. So it's been a long time, and yeah, it was fun. I mean, last year, I went to both trampoline parks just kind of by myself, just enjoyed the day. It's my golden birthday, 29 and 30, and this year was 30-31, and yeah, it was a fun time, and we went to Red Robin afterwards, and it was nice, staying at the motel and stuff, and yeah, it's just nice to celebrate people and just enjoy the day and stuff. Um, the only unfortunate part was I did, injure my back there a bit, sprained my back or whatever when I had a funky landing and my knees kind of caved in and my back went back and fucked myself up a bit, but I mean, it happens, and it's just, it's a kind of a weird omen. Because 10 years ago, I started my 20s the same way I unfortunately started my 30s. Well, this is like literally on the day you turn 30-31, you have to deal with that. But it wasn't, I had August of 2015. I had sprained my middle finger pretty badly on a rope swing, and that was August of 20 yeah, August 2015. That was almost 10 years ago. I was back in Wisconsin, and a couple months later, it was like October or near October, I remember, of 2015, and I was doing asphalt construction or whatever, and we were like removing blacktop or whatever, and I was either throwing it in the back of the truck or like taking out of the back of the truck or whatever, and I already had a bad finger, and uh unfortunately, that led to the piece of asphalt landing on my toe, and I don't think I necessarily broke my toe, but it was swollen. It was pretty bad. It was purple, and I was limping around for quite some time, and it was twice the size, and it was bad. And then I had a bad finger, so I had to, go to work and deal with that, and deal with a bad finger and a bad toe. And it's unfortunate when you get an injury and then another injury leads to another injury, and that unfortunately things can tend to snowball and stuff. And it kind of been really about 10 years pretty much since I've kind of had any kind of real bad injuries or anything real bad. I mean, it's generally pretty nimble, and I got good flexibility, agility. And if I do injure myself, I typically just bounce right back. I mean, I was like, kind of like, even when I did it, we were still going hard doing flips. I mean, we didn't stop. I mean, I wasn't going to stop, fuck. I mean, it takes a lot to take me down, and I just, kept going. But I knew when I did it, I'm like, I didn't know like what I did, but I knew it wasn't good. I didn't feel like I knew I didn't severely injure myself like it was that bad, but I could tell like I fucked myself up a bit. But that's just the thing. I mean, you can injure yourself running, injure yourself at the gym. I showed you my callus that ripped half off, 2 weeks for my birthday. So I kind of had to deal with that. And then I go and do this. So yeah, hopefully it's not a sign of things to come. I mean, hopefully it, heals up and goes away, and I'm able to kind of get back to things. I mean, I got my classes right now and stuff I'm dealing with, and, other things. So it's kind of somewhat good timing because, I can just focus on that and just take probably kind of somewhat of a month off the gym. I'm still been stretching, doing workouts and stuff. And I did go to the gym on the second, the third, because I hadn't been there in 8 days, but I could tell I was really sore for the most part. I just could tell this felt weak, and just I've lost a lot of strength since this. So, I mean, I'm still able to do things. I'm still, nimble and able to get around and stuff. So it's not like it's that bad, but it is one of those things where it's, getting older, it's harder to recover from things. And, I'm still in good shape and got good flexibility, agility. So it's important to, keep up on that as long as possible and prolong my youth and, hopefully not, injure myself to the point where I'm in a wheelchair or something. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, no regrets. It's just one of those things where it's just like a freak incident, freak thing, and just kind of happens. But yeah, I mean, it was still a great time. And yeah, I've just kind of been doing other things this week. Like I said, I had classes on it was at Thursday and stuff, and that went pretty well. I got like a lot of like ones that I just do like on the phone the next 4 days and stuff in the morning, and then I got one to go to and like Friday. So, and they wrap up, I guess, in the 22nd. So hopefully all goes well with that. And just getting used to living over here now and dealing with everything, and just kind of in that swing of things. It's always interesting when you're moving. It's a new start. Just there's always uncertainties and things you don't know, and things you don't know how things are going to go. And it's going to be interesting to see how things do go this summer and this year, and where I'm at by the end of the year, and how things look and stuff. And I think it's just kind of going to be that point where you look back on and just kind of say, yeah, it's um like you said, it's 30 is a turning point. It's definitely started off that way. I mean, hopefully, like I said, it does go up from here. I mean, overall, I'd say it's been a pretty good week. Like I said, I moved in, did what I needed to do, and kind of did everything. I think it's gone pretty smoothly overall. I think things have gone pretty well, so that's good. I mean, I like the teacher, the instructor, teacher, instructor, everyone to call him, that I met in person. He seems pretty cool. Seems kind of funny too. So it's good to have that. I mean, so hopefully, like I said, it's a quick month, and before you know it, will be on to June, and we'll just be a couple of June bugs just hanging out.
Well, I don't think there's much you can do to slow down the rapid pace that the world's moving at.
Oh
So if
yeah.
you're looking for a quick month, I think you're gonna get your wish.
Oh yeah.
Um, so yeah, speaking of going quick, we had a bunch of guys and some vehicles going pretty quick down in Texas. Tell you what, maybe a
Especially
little
the
too,
Logano, Big Joey.
especially maybe they were going a little too quick, a little too fast for their britches. All these all these wrecks.
Yeah, this
Uh,
looked like it should have been Talladega. This looked like it should have been that. I mean, the way this, I watched the highlights. I mean, it was just a demolition derby. I mean, it was a total shit show. Everyone's just wrecking, crashing, just nonstop cautions. People wrecking from the lead, wrecking in the,
Hmm.
running second, top five. I mean, so many people had good cars, had shots to win. And I know put $10 on Byron. And when it was funny, I looked with 90 to go. I checked my phone. That was the first time I checked, was with like 90 to go, and he was leading. So
Hmm.
I also thought Ryan Blaney had a good shot too, but
And he was
this is
up
one.
there winning in crunch time too. He was. I don't think he ever took first, but he was like right there at second.
Yeah,
Uh, and then I'm not exactly. Well, actually, let's look here. What happened to my boy? Did he crash too? Wait, he was
McDowell.
winning with 10 laps left.
Yeah, he wrecked too, running in like second. He crashed or
No, he
run
was in
second, third.
first for like two.
Yeah,
I know at least two splits. He was in first ahead of Blaney. Wow.
I don't even know how Cindric finished because he wrecked. I thought he was
He
total. I
wrecked.
can't believe they say he finished.
Did he? I thought oh, he did finish, huh?
Yeah, Hocevar too. I thought he was total. Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought.
these two are the ones that I saw that were like it said like laps plus 12 or I don't even know what that means. So I guess I shouldn't act
Yeah,
like I do.
how does who's at that finish? It says how did they finish and people DNF? That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, he's like he did worse than the people who wrecked.
Yeah, Barry wrecked leading the race in the Worth car. Go
Mhm.
figure. He's the event sponsored Worth. He's driving the Worth and crashes in the lead. I mean, it wasn't worth it.
No, not at all. So let's I know you had I think you put a little soft call on Blaney last week if I remember correct.
Yeah, I thought Byron, with just
Before
that
car.
one win, and I thought, Blaney hasn't won all year and hasn't done well, and I just felt like this was kind of maybe the chance, and Ford did go two in a row. I did think Ford had a good shot
Yes,
of
I
doing
remember
that.
you saying that. Yeah.
So Ford does double down. So we have had Chevy, Toyota, and Ford now double down on the year, and yeah, it felt like Ford had a real good shot, and there's a lot of good Fords up front. I mean, doing well today, and Barry wrecking in the lead, and yeah, we didn't really have too much emphasis on Logano picking up his first win of the year, but he was the one to do it.
It might have been that whole thing last week with him getting post race inspectioned. That might have been see that's what makes this so difficult is that like that info came in later after the race and we had already done our podcast and like talked about it, but then they talk about the disqualification and certain things. And I think comparing maybe the gematria in that or like the last time it's happened to his team or something along those lines would have maybe given the clue for or the last time it's happened before a race at Texas. Who knows? Uh, might have given you the clue for him finishing uh, this week because we've talked about this multiple times. This might be the most premier example. I know we had the which one was it a bell race? Was it a bell race that was one of the more prime examples of like it looked like some manipulation of the the flags there at the end and the cautions and certain things like that. Well, if you look at those other races, that seems pretty mild to a quarter of the field being crashing in one race. That seems like pretty highly, it seems there's a lot of angles to be able to manipulate when you have this many racers, bowing out, drivers, I should say, and
Yeah, that was
especially
the
near the
second
end.
race of the year where yeah, that was the second one where Bell won. That was his first win of the three where they said he won it where he did. But yeah, I mean
Mhm.
it seemed like the racetrack was just garbage. I mean, I don't know what it was specifically, but I know there was like a bump in like turn four. People were just like wrecking and losing control. So I don't know if this racetrack they're just kind of letting it go to crap to kind of create this situation, or sometimes they'll do that. Tracks will kind of go crap before they'll repave them or redo them, and you'll kind of get these kind of results where you'll have. I mean, it is rare to see this many people wreck, especially at a track that's just kind of known for more regular racing and not so much demolition derby, just your typical speedway here.
I do want to kind of like keep going on this whole idea that you had last week, or at least part of it partially with the narrative too, with you thinking Blaney had a shot, or at least the Fords having a shot. What's interesting, what they've been doing with Blaney is very similar to what they've been doing with Logano, and they're both Ford drivers. I don't know what teams they drive for. Specific, I know Logano's what, Penske, or
Yep.
that's the car he drives, but I don't know what team he's
Delaney and
driving.
him are teammates. Yeah.
Oh, they are.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, they have been the center of the like drama in NASCAR for weeks, for absolute weeks. They've been the more outspoken. Um, you if you were to look up NASCAR, like not headlines, but articles written about NASCAR, it's like they've been in a lot of them, and they just pop up on my feed ever since I've been looking into NASCAR more often. And so yeah, they're one of them. They're definitely both up there with the being outspoken, um, not afraid to speak their minds kind of guys or whatever. Or at least that's the characters they play. Blaney, especially more in the whiny sense. He's been more of a, more like complainy. No, anyway, or blamey. Anyway,
Yeah.
Logano too. He's more of a reactionary. A bad thing happens and he is upset in some way, and he puts it out there. But
Well, go figure. Last week, him and Priest, they finished second, third, and they both get DQ'd. So,
mhm.
and they put them dead last. So, I mean, yeah, you're gonna finish real well. You're almost gonna win at Talladega. You're gonna get second and third, and then you're gonna get DQ'd. But next week, we're gonna give you the win. So,
And it's definitely, oh man, it's just so, because when sports, it's like they can do this a lot more. I guess what you could say is like eloquently in like other sports with like because Logano, for he's still young technically in his life, but he's considered like a veteran and all these things. And you know just last did he win the Cup Series just last year, right?
yeah, him and
Yeah.
Blaney won it the last 3 years. Yeah,
Yeah, okay. So he still can perform and everything like that. They love doing that with veterans. They love doing that, like, prove they can still do it narrative. So, like you said, stick his ass all the way in the back. What are the odds that the old fart still, can come up against all these young guns and then look at where all the young guns ended up. I mean, you have Byron finishing at least. I guess Chase finished at least. Then that's pretty much it. Everybody else just got cooked. Also, Hamlin,
yeah, he blew up.
interesting, 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 because just last week he talked about leaving the Cup Series for, I think, for the Xfinity Series. So interestingly, that he blows up the week after, the week as
Yeah,
he, mentions that he wants to drop out because the competition is trash, basically, is what he was saying. Like the races suck.
yeah. And then his car's trash, and the way his car blew up too. I mean, that used to be the way you see cars kind of blow up back in like the '90s, early 2000s, where you just get the smoke and then you get a fire and an oil pan and stuff like that. I mean, you don't really see that too much. It's pretty rare. It does happen with these cars in today's racing, but it's pretty rare the way his car just blew up. And yeah, and
Mm.
go figure, he finishes dead last, 38.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that narrative there is pretty interesting. Uh and what, am I wrong? Let's see. I think they both finished. Are these Dylans? Are they brothers? At one point they were neck and neck. They were like fourth and fifth A Dylan and T Dylan. I've never seen them before. I could be wrong. They could have been racing the entire time. This is another one where I don't remember them ever seeing them.
Look at that, April 27th birthday, 2 days before me.
Oh, so they're grandsons of Richard Childress. I know that name. I'm sure that's like the famous
Yeah, he
racing.
drives Dale Earnhardt's old car, go figure. Yeah, siblings Ty Dillon.
Yep. Good old Austin Reed. Uh-oh. How many Austins we got? How many Austins? How many Chases? What do it?
Yeah.
Come on, man. What's going on?
How many Williams?
Mm-hmm.
We're just looking for Clutchkas now, and you're going to just get on. Then I was supposed to be in NASCAR.
We'll find them. Okay. Well, that's something to look at. Well, I might look into that further at some point. But anyway, let's go back to the statistics here. So this was his 30. Did they update it? Yes. So this is his 37th overall wait. Wait, no. Yes. 37th overall first. So he was on 36 last week. See if we might have missed something if we would have kept going with all this, because I didn't have time to keep looking into all this stuff. Or was it Texas Speedway?
Texas Motor Speedway.
Oh, is it Motor Speedway? Okay. That's right. 77.
Go figure the 77 car was on the pole. Most of our.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
You see how they do it.
The big hoe on the pole.
Oh, that's his second Texas win.
Logano's.
Yeah. For number 22. Lots of twos.
Yep.
He's got those fun numbers. Let's see. What's his full name there? What's your full name there, Joey?
The Logan O. Hi, I'm Joey Logano.
That's so weird. I don't know if I've ever noticed that. His middle and last name is my last and first name almost.
Birthday's coming up too, May 24th.
Yeah. Interesting. They're letting
The day Paul Gray died, yeah.
They're letting the spring chickens out. Like
Yeah,
mostly all winter birthday boys have been taking them lately, right before. Oh, he's also the same age as me. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Just like Austin Dillon, born in 1990. Oh, I didn't realize the last race at Talladega would have been on Austin Dillon's birthday. I didn't realize that.
Oh, was it? It was a...
Because it was April 27th, Talladega, and his birthday's April 27th, so it was on his birthday.
That could be something to look at moving forward in the years to come.
Yeah.
I don't know how long he's been racing.
Got the 84, Austin Jesuit, 78, Austin Jesuit.
About just Joseph, since everyone calls him Joey. Hey, Joey.
Joey.
56. 187.
52.
These racers all like they're in some way. Almost everybody we look up has one form or fashion or another of either Society of Jesus, Jesuit Order, straight up 201. There's every single racer we look up or driver. It's very interesting. Joey equals 17, which is interesting. But yeah, there's a 119.47. That's no joke.
Yeah, if you ever get a race on April 29th and it's not a leap year, watch out for Joey Logano, the 119.
19th day of the year. Tom and Debbie, they raised a good young chap, didn't they? Let's see.
And Ford's got the
That's a very,
25,
it's a very
so they might.
Trumpy.
And Ford's got the 25, so it might be like you said, or like we were talking about last episode, 4 in a row for Ford.
Yep.
Ford, Pete.
Oh, that's Ford Mustang and Donald Trump here at Four Cypher match.
Wow.
Interesting. That could be that. I mean,
Yeah, right there.
I wasn't expecting to come across that, but I was just like, so that could be a big tell,
Oh yeah.
especially when he opened out the season. It's not like every president does that. It's not like this is not something that you can like relate Donald Trump to. You clearly can do it. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, go figure. He wins the. That was the inauguration there, and then that was the last race after that. Or I think or it might have been. Can't remember when the last race was. It might have been before the inauguration in November last year, and of course Joey would get 3 in a row for Ford. But I'd say
Also, Donald Trump's
highly likely
always,
they go 4 in a row.
Donald Trump's like super tied to Ford as well. He not only would he, when he was still touring the US basically, or, whatever they call it, he, he talks about, the Ford, I keep wanting to say dealerships, but the factories, and getting their jobs back up and running and reviving the automobile industry. Biden destroyed it. That's what they'll say. He
Yep.
destroyed it. So interesting. That little factor there could be a big tell. I mean, so let's quickly. I mean, what does I can think of 37? 37 just doesn't stand out to me. I was trying to see what that could have meant. I know he was sitting on 36. I could say some things about that, not necessarily for this particular race, but once again, it might have been the ritual might have been the shaming he took last week, correct? Like what's DQ? 30.
33.
There you go.
6.
Guess that's what DQ stands for, is disqualification. Not sure. And what team does he race for?
Joey Logano.
Yeah,
Penske.
it is just Penske. Okay. I know you raced the Penske car. I didn't know if that was the team name. Penske's got the 25.
Yep. Ford 25.
Dare I say, it could be in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
No, they absolutely correct. Yeah. Penske and Ford got the 25, which yes.
And if Joey wins, it'll be his 4th championship, 4 in a row for Ford.
Yep. I definitely remember talking about that.
Yep.
just that could be an ESPN headline easily. They love doing that stuff. Here, let's lower this just a little bit. Oh, and I can take this away. All right, so Joey gets off the schneid, first win of this series, or season, whatever you call it. And now all sights are set on Kansas. It's a big Denny track, it looks like. 5 top 5s out of 6. That's not bad.
Yeah, he might be able to bounce back.
A lot of the expected names here on this list. So let's take a look. See here, shall we? Oops. All right. The Advent Health 400. Now, Advent. I kind of want to do.
Well,
Those
120, 48, 60.
Those are some illuminated numbers. Wish you got the 60 in there, like the chimp, the Trump, and the 48, same cipher. Advent Health. Let's take a look here.
$4.5 stars. I see a ritual coming. Yeah, it was interesting that Kansas and Chicagoland both got introduced in 2001 and 2002. They're supposed to be cookie cutter tracks, and Jeff Gordon won the first 2 races at Kansas in 2001 and 2002, and Kevin Harvick won the first 2 races at Chicagoland in 2001 and 2002 also. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't even think they still do race at Chicagoland, but
Let's see. Oh yeah, that's right. Kansas City. Which it's interesting because this is Kansas City, Kansas, but it kind of does remind you of, Kansas City, Missouri, and
yeah,
the Chiefs.
the Chiefs.
I mean, you said you were looking for that ritual. We got that 67.
Yep.
The
110.
187. Let's see, what is it? KS is Kansas. And this is races on the 11th. Say, yeah.
511.
Now 511. I feel like there's something I think in the satanic cipher that equals 511 that is just poking at my brain, but
You could also write it 11.5 and 115, 115 is a big number too.
yeah, remember the 5th of November.
We had a lot of 115s last week in the podcast. It's funny too. If I won the bet today, it was $10 on buyer, and you win $55. I won a Satan if I won, but I didn't win, so
You're clean.
I'm clean.
It's a good thing. I'm curious, what does 22 equal? I know we haven't been doing this. I'm curious. 78.
Awesome Jesuit numbers.
4278. Well, let's see here. Okay, let's try to write some of these things out. Kansas, another 43. Got that 11. Maybe a Hamlin. It's his best track, or one of his best tracks.
At least the last 3 years, yeah.
Yeah, last 2 years. Okay, let's take a look. I already forgot what Denny's sitting on. Oh, he got his. That's right. He got his 56th at Darlington, the back-to-back. So he's looking for 57. Funny they sat him at 56. I almost now knowing that it's like, what benchmark is there left? If so, keep this in mind. If I mean, this is a big deal. He wrecks, or his car blows up in this race, and he's already pissed off about the quality of the races and everything like that. What if he leaves the Cup Series on 56 wins?
Yeah. We talked about that 57, how that made sense of getting the 57, but yeah, I mean, he could just
But he
finish at
didn't.
56.
And so
Yeah.
maybe they're playing on the underside of that, and they're doing the keep on 56.
Yep.
Although, I was just curious. Because Denny Hamlin equals 56. I think that'd be a good call. Not to say that he wouldn't end his career. He would just move to the Xfinity series, and obviously that would be a different system.
Yep.
So he'd have 56. He'd retire basically with 56 wins in the Cup Series. So I think that is definitely a possibility. So let's take a look at some of the other drivers we got here. Of course, you got the Kyle Larson. Couple of wins this year.
Yeah, he's been doing some grand larcening for sure.
Oh yeah. He'd be going for his 28th, that perfect number. 28th win, like I say. Let's see, has he won in Texas? Yes. He won once in Texas. I don't know when this was. Sometime within the last 3 years he won. Be interesting to go and look up when. That's probably something to look up, is when they win these races. How far from the track last time they won at this track probably matters. So he'd be going for a second win at this track. Let's see if I remember. Yeah. Was there not a 230? Or was something else? Okay. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do. What the heck is Advent Health? Sure, it's okay. Oh, is that what they renamed themselves?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
even know what that is, Advent Health. Heard of it.
It's weird. My first job was at the hospital my mom worked at, which was Adventist. but they might have, and they're a Seventh-day Adventist hospital, so I wonder if they renamed their. Let's see, just real quick. No, it's still called Adventist Health. So, but is that the same? How do you have an Advent Health and Adventist Health? That's just not original. That's really not original. So it is different, but not different. Okay. So it's just a hospital, basically, or a healthcare organization. What's that?
I know which one I'm going with.
Yeah,
I
Larson.
need that Advent healthcare plan.
Yeah, they got your best interests for sure. Okay, well, do we see a emergence of Kyle Larson? Does Chase Elliott get off the schneid here? Let's see. Let's do a little bit of this action. It will be 5/11, 131st day of the year. Okay, let's take a look. See here. Bad Boys, July 31st. $284 days, 9 months and 11 days.
Hmm.
Oh, okay, it was 248. That was last week anyway. Okay, and then let's take a look. See it. Look at Ryan Blaney. Ryan Michael Blaney, December 31st.
What a day to be born.
Well, there you go. That's 131 days from Ryan Blaney's birthday. Interestingly enough. Where was that? I don't remember what the 131 I had was. Oh, that's frustrating. I remember just a minute ago we had a 131 up there. What was that about? Was it? I guess this. No, it couldn't have been. I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. I need to hit enter on these things. I keep forgetting to hit enter. Was it? No, 132. Will be his 132nd day of his age.
Yeah.
But that's Kyle Larson, not Ryan Blaney. So. Oh, that's frustrating. I lost whatever that 131 was. What was his? Michael? You would have Michael as a middle name. Ryan Michael.
That was 78.
Got the 93 like Advent Healthcare.
Yep. Like that sun's 93 million miles away.
Look at the Saturn number. Man, what was it? The 131 we just had. That's kind of frustrating. I can't for the life of me remember what we're looking up. Oh, well, maybe it wasn't relevant. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, well, who else we got? Who's next? Does Logano ever go back to back? May 24th, that's right. I guess it'd be 13 days from his next birthday.
Lucky 13.
And stands out to me too much. Let's see, what's Penske? I'm sure it's Penske Racing, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Penske. It's like those Penske rental trucks.
Mm-hmm. Probably child trafficking or something. Well, yeah, you got Penske Racing equals 202, and then they got the number 22.
Yep.
Funny enough. I believe they had, what was it? Kansas City equals 67, and 122, like Penske Racing. So Blaney or Logano have a slight narrative here, just with the track, or they were. He's on the list. He's not too far down. No wins. Last 3 years, he has a top 5 and top 10, 2 top 10s. So nothing crazy, but his teammates slightly better. Just in finish times, it seems like, because I think they're the exact same. Yeah. Both have a top 5 and 2 top 10 finishes in the last 3 years at this track. Pretty interesting to see where they go with this. Let's see what's up with Alex Bowman. I've never looked into this gentleman.
Such a Bowman.
Archer. He's got 8 wins. He's looking for his 9th win. Hasn't won at Kansas. Alex Bowman.
Bowman. Byron Bowman.
Look at that. Look at that absolute American. Another Michael middle name. Michael Warren Bowman. I'm Warren. I'm a Warren Bowman. Go to war with my bow and arrow. It's got Hawkeye over here.
Surprised it was another William. They just couldn't have any more Williams on Hendrick. They're like, nah, we got to spread out the Williams. They're going to catch on to us.
Yep.
You Williamed it out.
The 129. Interesting. Looking for his 9th win. Oops. Do that. Bowman. It's not your week, buddy. You just keep chugging along. You'll get there. You keep going in those back rooms at the parties. You'll make it.
Yeah.
Ross Chastain for his 7th win. His last win was at Kansas, interestingly enough. Last year.
And he did really well today. I think he finished second. Or
he was up there for sure. He was 3rd or 4th.
Top 5.
No, you're right.
Second.
He finished 2nd. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't talked about him much this year. He's been quiet.
Oh, yeah. I remember looking at this guy. Yeah. All these winter birthdays. Oh, it's the 131st day of the year is the race. That's where that 131 was from. Okay, well. Or maybe, I don't remember. Whatever. Well, Ross' last win at Kansas. Let's check out Ross. That's right. He has a 71-17. $47.
79.
What's his surname? Sir, what's your name?
Ross dressed for less.
Yep. I got it at Ross.
Jim Ross.
Martin Truex Jr. A lot of Martins. Got Martinsville, whole place for Martins to live. Has he won at Martinsville? Yes. 3 times. He's right at home in Martinsville. Let's see. He's won at Kansas 1, 2, twice. Looking for his 3rd Kansas win, his 35th win overall.
That's true. I don't think Truex is even. He's retired. I don't know. He might be on a.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he was in the 500, but.
Oh, okay. So they don't always race all the time. See, this is another thing, the ins and outs of these, because I thought I saw him earlier this year race. So
Yeah, he raced the 500, but.
okay. Well, if he's not
Yeah, no, I
slated
said that
to
too. I'm like,
run,
hey, I'm supposed to be retired. You get out of here.
nah, he's gonna make a comeback. Don't worry. Who's this gentleman? He's taking selfies. Get out of here. Eric Benjamin Jones. What a is he Swedish?
May 30th. His birthday's coming up too.
He's born in Byron, Michigan. I just can't get away.
You're turning 29 soon, mister.
Yeah, May 30th.
His golden's coming up in a year.
Yeah, there's quite a few birthdays that are popping off. Right around now. Spring. 19 days from his birthday. 2 weeks, 5 days. Interesting. 11 months and 11 days. Interesting. Eric Jones. Eric equals 25. And 43. And his name equals 43.
36.
Eric Jones. What's he? That Jones boy. There goes that Jones boy.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Has Dukes of Hazzard or something? What is going on here? All right, dare we? Hey, Kelly. Oh, yeah, wins. 3 wins. 2 Darlington, 1 Daytona. Notice this. I'm waiting for Stenhouse Jr.'s big win.
Yeah, such a beautiful number. We got to get that
Yeah,
Con
I
Victory
was going to
Lane.
say exactly why. Got the number 47. I mean, I just imagine the harassment he gets walking down like the urban city areas, and they're just like people ripping his hat off. He's like, "Nah, it's not a Trump hat. It's I raised the number. Nah, get out of here."
There's no 45 on here, just the 47. This ain't a Twump hat. It's a beautiful number, though.
It's my favorite number. It's a beautiful number. Hey, parents.
I'm going to get this car on Victory Lane. It's going to be huge. You're going to love it.
His dad was a seahorse. He just has a father, no mother. Dick Stenhouse.
Seahorsing around. He's not winning. He's just seahorsing around.
Yeah, he is. Richard, 47. Okay. Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah, why not? Pseudo Ricky. It's just crazy how in certain professions, like, let's see, how old was he? He's 37. You know, it's like you're almost 40. Do you still go by Ricky? It's just there's certain names where like even like almost Joey. And there's some certain names where it's just like I think you start to take on your more like serious name, not the nickname, not the shorthand name when you get older.
Yeah, like how many old? I always say that about my name. Like I have such a like a baby child name. Like how many old men or old guys have you gone to and say, "Hey, Austin, what's up?" It's like it doesn't even sound right. The sounds fucked up. Like you imagine going up to some old grandpa. It's like, "What's up, Austin?" It just doesn't
Did you
sound. It
ever
sounds.
think about when, what was the reason your mom and dad named you?
I was told my sisters actually named me. Is what I was told. They
Uh,
didn't even. Yeah,
well, there you go. But
yeah. If
I
any of
just
that's true, I mean, I wonder who came out, who put that William in there too. I mean,
well,
someone knew
that's
Gematria when they were naming me. So, someone had this ready to go.
because yeah, I wonder, just like booms. Like I know that certain like sociological like events or something, things that happen like there's booms in names and whereas you look in the past and you just won't see those names. But I think a lot of that has to do with, I think we've talked about this before. I think when we were talking about like the right to bear arms, I mentioned this type of thing too, or like family crests and things of that nature. Is people don't have that anymore. They don't have the sense of like record keeping of a family, that family, and it's just like, I'm talking about America. This is definitely still a big deal to a lot of like European nations and things of that, uh those persuasions. They definitely put a much more of a, their, the great aunts and the grandmas in the families, they keep the books and pass them down to be added to. And when you just go off and have a kid, it's not just like, oh, I just went off and had a kid, I'm doing my own thing over here. It's like, no, it's like it's all taken down, and they're the, it's like lineage and stuff like that. Whereas
Yeah,
we don't do that anymore. Names are really just like accessories. And so you look in the past and it's like black and white times, it's just like John, 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 Edward, Edward, John. There was, it's just like that wasn't the name was, is just a, first of all, that's the first names. I mean, but most of these people were, juniors. If you're a son, you're a junior because your name is going to be the same as your dad. And so with variation, I think you get these like springs of like variation, uh to where like you were mentioned, you don't hear about like old Austins. It's because I don't, I think your name probably boomed around when you were born or just before
it
then.
was.
So,
When I
so it
looked
was
it
in
up, it
people's
was like
heads.
the most common name. I think it was around. It was either like a year or two or whatever after I was born. It was like the most like common name, or one of the most common names to name your child was Austin. So I think I was like right before it became common. So yeah, it's something really weird. I think about it all the time. Like what happens to all these older Austins? Like do they die young? Do they change their name? Does something else happen? I mean, do they disappear? I mean, there's gonna have to be something people are gonna have to look into about these Austins. Like 'cause I've never once in my life heard anyone or seen anyone old named Austin. So I don't know if they just die
Bunch of
off young. They're gonna die young. They change their name. Something happens. It's very interesting and weird to think about.
bunch of orphan trainers.
Yeah.
I forgot their names. They were just called John. Oh, you are John. Oh, okay. Here's a lollipop. You're John. Okay. All right. Sounds good. So the narrative here is quite interesting for Penske with the 25s and things of that nature. Both racing Fords, Blaney and Logano. Uh, of course, with I mean, we've highlighted this. I'm sure we can go retroactively go back and find potentially 201s. It's not like it has to be a 201. It's not like I'm a, "Ah, where's the 201? I got to find the 201. It's got to be here." But it's just, it's there quite often. And just with how easy it's been to spot the 201s in these races, whether or not it's the track, it's the driver, the town. It's pretty unbelievable. Not really, but remarkable, I'll say.
Yeah, NASCAR loves the 201.
So yeah, with the Penske Racing there, numbers along with the Ford and Penske numbers for potentially being the big winners in 2025. It very well could. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't put back to backs. I think there's going to be a whole bunch more of this series. How many more races are there?
Quite a
At
bit. It goes till November, so
Yeah, dude, there's going to be more back to backs. The fact that it's like thinking that there wouldn't be is like that's actually now you're going against statistics because there's like been more back to backs and back to back to backs than regular just single wins this year so far.
yeah.
So it's trending towards like having these be more often.
Yeah,
And I don't
especially
know.
manufacturer wise.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, I haven't even been paying attention to. I know we had yeah, exactly, the manufacturers winning. We were definitely hot on that trend early to start uh the season. We were noticing, the top 3, pretty much uh there was never a variety. Still to this day, I don't think we've had a Ford, Chevy, and a Toyota in the top 3. Not to say that that should be or anything like that. It's just aside from that, it's always been like 2 and 1, which is interesting. I don't know if it means anything necessarily, but it's interesting. Also, the youngins have been kind of quiet since their explosive start, I would say. Obviously
Yeah,
with Bell, kind of leading that.
and Byron.
Yeah, and Byron. Let's quickly look at good old Byron boy. 163 days. Let's see. 202 days from his birthday. I might be tripping, but oh, that's Penske. That was equals 202. Never mind. So interesting. Interesting to see where it goes with this one. I don't know if you had any more thoughts, or I don't want to go over every single driver. I think we spotted a couple things worth talking about or
Yeah, I
mentioning.
think this one's going to be kind of up in the air, kind of like Texas was. I mean, I think it's kind of
It's
anybody's race.
up in the air. I mean, all the cars were up in the air apparently.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be on the ground, guys. Oh man, I don't know why it's bugging me. There we go. So real quick, let's go. Let's see. They should have. Okay, here we go. So Byron's leading, Larson's right behind, Hamlin and Elliott tied. This is this year, correct? Where's Leggy doing? She's not doing too bad. She's kind of cooking. 7 points. Let's go. Bubba's sitting at 8th. Very interesting. Okay, so did
and there's
Chase get
still a
a?
lot of people who haven't won yet.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna say, Blaney hasn't gotten his win. Chase
Chase
never got
Elliott.
his win. Reddick very close, didn't get his win. Or did he get a win?
No, Reddick hasn't won either.
Yeah, that's right. I think he took second at one point, but
Bubba hasn't won. Bowman hasn't won. Chastain hasn't won. Busher hasn't won. A lot of people haven't won.
Chase Briscoe's my favorite Chase.
Briscoe. It's like Crisco.
Oh, it's a young season, 11 races. It'll be the 12th race, which is it's 12 months, 12 hours. I could see a Ford winning again. They've been I know that last week there was quite a few articles about Ford because of the DQs. If you remember, it would have been, I think, a top 3 Ford finish.
Yep.
But because of the DQs, it didn't end up being that way. Although a Ford won. Very curious of this Advent Health, which I don't see how they have Adventist Health and Advent Health. Like that just doesn't see.
Yeah.
I would imagine they would be umbrellaed over Adventist Health, but we got church money. David Banks, what a name.
I'm gonna be laughing straight to the bank after that one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We've got just over an hour left, and I don't know if you want to peruse some headlines or just get straight into the topic at hand. I know it's kind of abrupt. I personally, I just didn't see too much more than the things we talked about. Keep an eye out for the Penske boys, Logano and Blaney, in those Ford cars. Uh, Once again, Ford Mustang 4-cipher match with Donald Trump. I don't know if Blaney runs a Mustang. I'm sure he does, right?
Yeah. Yeah, all the Fords are
Yeah, they're
Mustang.
both. Yeah, they're Fords. Yeah, I figured. I just don't want to misspeak. So yeah. Then again, you have the 201 at play here, which doesn't necessarily mean I know on one instance where the 201 was quite obvious. We had I think that was a Larson win. So then you also have Chase Elliott, the other 201 in his name. So could get his first win. Things to consider. Things to consider. But now on a little bit of a different tone. Uh, I think next week I say I think I penciled in plans to have Richard back on from I can put his YouTube up here. Great decoder and member of the community and things of that nature. But I caught one of his which I think I telling this story. It's not just arbitrary. I think it kind of like inspired what we're gonna talk about. So I'm kind of giving a little bit of a lead in. But not to put out his info out there, but happened to catch one of his live streams and hopped in there and talked to him for a bit. But it's just he was having a hard time, and definitely had to do with relationships and uh, lack of a relationship, one ending that is, and that's a tough time, and from two guys' perspectives, me and Rich at the time, and now I'll be talking with you, so me and Austin's perspective on these things. You know, it's I was telling Rich, I was saying, females are that compliment, they in a good way, but they're also like they're the thing that can they can get you, spin in the wrong direction too.
They'll make or
Uh
break you. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't you can feel as alpha as you want in your head, but and I'm not saying they're out to do this. I'm not saying females are out to do this or women. Um but they do, I think, guys, for the most part will, not put it out there as much and not like show that they're as affected as they might be by things that are happening in a relationship, or the loss of a relationship, or things of that nature. Or I think we're going to get into the nitty gritty of this because I want to talk about multiple aspects of this, like just right off the bat. But yeah, back to Rich. I was having to, that's what I was telling him. It's just like that women, they have that power. And what I was going to go into just now was whether or not they use it for good or for evil. And I've known both. I've certainly known both. I've known the ones that can use it for evil, and I think that's why guys for the most part have their guards up. And at least you get this like overcompensation where it's just like I I I I'm not even affected. You can leave. You could die tomorrow. I'm not. I don't even care. I don't need your parents to even tell me about the funeral. I don't care. Because that's much better than opening yourself up to. Because for a lot, let's see if we're on the same page here. Because I know I'm like cutting myself off here because I'm not really going into the whole thing because we're going to talk about it. But you know, it's like sharks. They can smell the blood in the water. And once you like open yourself up to being manipulated in certain ways, it's because the facts are in a breakup, the odds are is that that female, that person is going to find another guy, and let your mind go wild once once that happens. But there are some women that can do that rather quickly in a retaliatory type of way. And I don't know if I'm giving away trade secrets or not, but man, that hits dudes pretty hard. Like that is not something that's easy to deal with. Most, for the most of working America, they got to go to work, they got to go to school, whatever they're doing, they can't stop and like really fester on these things, or never mind fester, but they even stop to heal it, if you for lack of a better term, let alone be still attached to social media and see what your former partner is out there doing with whoever they're out there doing it with. And this applies to guys as well. But from guys perspectives, that which is what we're going to be giving you, it's pretty I w- I can't say whether or not it's one is worse than the other because I know it from my angle, but I can only assume. I For some reason I just assume that it's worse. That idea is worse for guys, to know that your girl's out there, you know, or your former girl. Let's just put it that way. So I'm not saying that that's his situation either. That's not Rich's situation. I just, you know, I understand where he's coming from, and that's, I also had to tell him, just him 3 months from now is going to have a very different outlook on what is going on right now, and to kind of like just focus on, it's all cliche. You can say all the cliche things. The cliches are cliche because it actually is what it is. There's not really a whole lot you can do about it. And the more you try to do, you generally end up making everything worse. And usually you're for yourself, because you overextend yourself and you make yourself look worse in the process. And the only person that really affects is you and your own personal outlook on yourself, whether or not that's through regret or whatever. But yeah, I had to tell him, just keep your nose to the grindstone. Poor guy, he also lost his job like a couple 2 days after. So
Yeah.
it's just like doesn't end sometimes. But as far as the relationship thing goes, these things are, they're tough to be in, and they're tougher to be out. I don't know if actually I don't want to say they're tougher or which one's tougher, but it's tough either way.
Yeah, and this is such a, and like I said, we'll get into this, like, we'll do definitely a part two on this next week, because we got like an hour left or whatever, but
Mhm.
we'll, this is such a topic that, and we've brought it up and we've talked about it, on here before, and, briefly, and it's something that you can, take a lot of angles and attacks at, and really look at it from a lot of different angles and perspectives and ways, because everyone's different, and like what you were saying, just how like women are in men, and women are usually the ones to almost always leave the man too and break up with the man as well. It's almost never the man, I mean, unless a woman just done fucked up or the man just wasn't having it, I mean. But you know the thing is too, I mean, I look at it from the perspective of, to like, just looking at like me and you, or like, say, like, Zach or someone, obviously Zach's married, he's got a kid, and you're not married, but you um have kids, and you know and it's just like seeing like where like someone like me is at, where I'm not like anywhere near, you know either of you guys, in terms of relationships or families, or even money wise or anything, or just even just like generally in life. And I think this is something that, if I was maybe, Zach's age or your age, or maybe a little older, maybe, who knows, maybe, I would have had more money if I was born out here or something, where I was born, and, how my upbringing, and, how my life took off, and, possibly could I have been married or have kids or had a family. I mean, these are things that, are different for everybody. And for me personally, I mean, I haven't even really been on a date in like 5 years, especially since like COVID in 2020. I mean, I stayed to myself. I mean, and I was in my teens and my 20s. Things were a lot different, and I even go back to like 2016. Like I kind of look at like 2016 as kind of like the last like real decent year for myself, like in just life and stuff. I really feel like things after that really have fallen off, and I've really felt that way too, even like towards women. I mean, I mean, obviously, I'm straight. I like women and everything, but just the way things are now, I mean, it's really just changed so much. And especially, for someone that's a lot even younger than me, like, King Richard and these younger guys. I mean, they're not even gonna know what I'm talking about, because like it was totally different. I mean, back in like 2016, when I was 21, um, it was like I was just it was just totally different. I mean, there wasn't even like OnlyFans and all this stuff you have now, and the way women look. I mean, they were a lot more attractive. I mean, they weren't all like masculine, and didn't have, all tattooed up, and just, even in the last few years since I've been back here, it's just even at the gym and stuff, like I talked to some girls, some good looking girls, like in like 2022, 2023, 2024. But even, I mean, I just see this rapid decline and decay in dating and families and women and stuff, and just the way people are now. I mean, it's just and just and it's everyone's different. I mean, some people prioritize relationships and families and things like that, and um for some people that's their big goal. They want relationships. They want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to do those types of things. And for some people, it's like I look at like you and Zach, like I look at both of you as tremendous in the family sector. The way you bring up your kids and stuff, and how you raise them, and just like what you got going on and stuff. And someone like me who's just like so far behind in that sector, and just it's just been something that it's just like I don't know. I mean, to me today, you really have to get extremely lucky um as a man, and just in everything. I mean, not just relationships, just everything in life, because it's just like I know, since I've been back here the last 3 years, I mean, I have not had good luck when it's really came to anything. I mean, my life's kind of been a downward spiral, and just I feel like I've kind of gone backwards in a lot of ways. But you know, I just have to, and I feel like today, I mean, the way things are, I mean, um, it's a lot more geared towards having money and status, and it's kind of like, I mean, almost if you don't have, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, and really just you're rich and you're rolling in it. I mean, it's almost, to me, it's not even really worth trying to even date. And even people that do have a lot of money still aren't good and still struggle at dating. And I know a lot of people around my age, um, that are like 30 and younger, that are really having a lot of problems and aren't, like I said, in relationships or having sex and doing things like that. And yeah, I just feel like it's something that it has been, just if you're not old enough to know, I mean, it's the way people used to be. I mean, with social media and dating sites and all these things, I mean, they've just transformed everything. I mean, and I was, in my teens and my 20s and stuff. It was fun, and it was exciting. But now it's like, now I'm in my 30s, and I'm just at that point in my life where the way I see it is I just want to focus on myself and do my own thing. I mean, I just, just trying to figure out life and what's right and what's best for me. I know things, last few years, especially since 2020. I mean, to be, honest and fair, I mean, like I said, I never had, money and status. The most money and status I ever had was back in 2020. Um, when COVID and shit was going down, and I was moving to Wyoming and stuff, and I just turned 25. I had like $30,000. And that was the most money I ever had, was then. And I've never gotten back to that point. And, and I know money is such a thing, and a lot of people just look at money, and that's kind of how I was even when I came back here. But I've really changed a lot in the last few years, and just really kind of just taken my own, I just feel like things have just changed so much since 2020. And even the way I was, I wanted to still make money and travel and do things and kind of get ahead and stuff. And even that's the way I was 3 years ago. But it's like, now it's just like I've just become more grateful for little things and the way things are. It's just like there's just been this great falling away, and it's just kind of been, and not just like, relationships as women, just like relationships in general. I mean, as far as it goes for me, I mean, you're pretty much the only local friend I have around. I mean, I don't got really anybody else or anything around to do stuff with and hang out with. Um, and it's so hard to find just friends or people that are reliable and people to do stuff with, and to have things go right in life these days. And I understand why a lot of, that's why for me, I feel like it's best to be single, in those regards. I mean, having someone, if it's the right person, things work and everything's great. I mean, yeah, that's obviously, what I would love to have. But it has become to the point where, especially at my age, it's like, well, I mean, how many times am I going to just keep going through people and friendships, relationships, women and stuff, and coming away empty or disappointed or frustrated or annoyed and stuff, because you are watching the hourglass start to tick down and tip away, and I am coming kind of towards the end of my prime, and who knows where the world's going to be 5-10 years from now, how I'm going to be 5-10 years from now. I mean, because I have no idea. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, and yeah, I just feel like if I was like 60 and I was born in like 1965, I mean, I felt like I could have had a house, a wife, kids, and probably all that would have played out. But I just feel like the way like my upbringing was, and just the way things went, and the way the world is, and the timing of things, it's really kind of just disrupted the flow of things. And it's kind of just, and I mean, like I said, I mean, I think a lot of people want to make relationships kind of the end all be all, but most relationships today aren't any good anyways. I mean, most are not good. Most marriages are not good. The kids coming up now aren't, doing well. The families aren't well. Relationships are bad. It's just, it's just and the thing is too, I mean, you wouldn't even believe the phone calls I get during the day. I get phone calls, I get text messages, and, the things I get wrapped up in, and just the things I hear and have to deal with on a daily basis. And it's not good. I mean, I was on the phone for 50 minutes yesterday with somebody, and, yeah, just dealing with stuff like this and what people are going through. And it is just, it's just bad out here, man. I mean, and I know too, I mean, you know, we say it all the time, just how bad and how fucked this world is, and just the way things are. And it's just, I just feel like a lot of people would be better off if they were alone, versus, being in a bad, toxic, relationship or environment, or around people like that. Cause it's just not good. And like I said, I've never really had a real girlfriend. I've had a couple open on and off toxic relationships, but I mean, the second one was better than the first. But I mean, like I said, I've been with a lot of women, but it's just, I mean, and the thing is, I mean, it's really the way people are now too. I mean, to find someone that is reliable and is what you're looking for. And I'm more of a, basically the way I would describe myself is what you'd hear of like a Sigma male, like someone who's a kind of a loner, a lone wolf, does their own thing, and just kind of wants to live that way. And, when I was younger, my teens and my 20s and stuff, I'm like, yeah, I would like to be in a relationship. I want to be with a woman, that's what I want. And now here I'm sitting here 30 and in my 30s, and it's just like, I just feel like I've just kind of gone backwards in that area. Like, it's just something that's just kind of not even something I really care about as much anymore. I mean, um, and like I said, even if I had millions of dollars, I mean, there's people that have a lot of money, and they're still not being able to pull it off. So, I mean, money is a huge part too. I mean, overall, I mean, yeah, I'm a decent looking guy. I mean, a lot of women say maybe I'm a little too skinny or something, but it's kind of been always the complaint. But I feel like it really, today, you just have to get extremely lucky. You have to find the right person, and you just have to have you just have to have everything kind of go your way, and already be in kind of a great spot. And then I think if you found the right person at the right time, there's a potential for it to work out. But it's just that you have what I know I have less than a 1% chance, of making it work. You got such a small chance, way less than 1%. And it's just not good odds, and it's not, favorable. It's just, it's more almost like, well, do I get up and try and win the lottery? I almost have better chance of that. I mean, that's basically where it's at. I mean, and the thing is, it's like I said, I mean, it's been getting worse. I've noticed it big time in the last 3 years. I came back here 3 years ago, and I really was kind of, I was taking some shots at women, and, thinking, and even, last year, and when I was 29, and the year before that, and, all the way up to kind of just, me moving, and here just lately, I've just been like, especially since my birthday, I've been, always talking to women and stuff. But it's like, now I am at the point too of where my life, where I do just kind of want to focus on myself and try and better myself. And and just, whatever I got to do to just get to that next level. And yeah, I mean, I think for men out there, I mean, especially younger guys, I think the best thing to do is just kind of focus on yourself. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's not all about money. I mean, there's people that are making hundreds, thousands, millions a year, and they're miserable. I mean, they're not even happy. I mean, they're just sitting there and they hate their life. And I know I can't be like that. I mean, I rather be poor and broke and can't do anything but be happier than just be some just slave to the money. And unfortunately, that's the reason most relationships don't work. I mean, it comes down to money. Most people, they don't, the reason their relationships don't work, they fight, they have issues, is over money. I mean, that's almost always the problem. And obviously, with having a female around or a woman, I mean, you're going to spend a lot more money on her than she's going to spend on you. And if you don't have, like I said, hundreds and hundreds of thousands or millions, and, you're not doing extremely well, and it's just, you're pretty much fucked. I mean, that's just the way that society is today. And I feel like there's so many men, and there's so many people that are in the same spot as me, um, that feel this way. And there's there's so many men that are around my age that are going through the same thing. And I just think it's become an epidemic. It's become the new normal. It's just and like I said, I mean, I just see it getting worse. I mean, it's gotten worse year by year, day by day, week by week. I mean, especially the stuff I've seen since I've been back here, and it's just been just a rapid decay. And um, I mean, and it's good to have, people like you and Zach and others that to see people that in the community that are in relationships, that are, some are married and have families and kids, and things are going well and things are working out, because that's just become such a thing today, that's become so rare and so hard to have and find and do. And it's just and of course, I mean, it's all by design. I mean, everything's by design. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just it's a very tough time to be someone my age and be younger than me. It's just it really is. I mean, to live through the changes of life, to how life used to be uh, when I was a kid, to what I thought I would. And I mean, I've seen this coming when I was a kid, but I mean, I just didn't see it to the degree, to the exact degrees that I have seen it. I mean, the world has just been so much worse than I ever thought it was going to be. And I've lived through it too. I mean, I've dealt with it. And yeah, for people like, King Richard out there and stuff, my recommendation to him is just, focus on yourself and build yourself up. But also at the same time, just do what you want to do. I mean, just whatever you got to do. I mean, if you feel like you just, you need to, if hookups or whatever you need to do, or, go find some women here and there, if that's what you got to do, or, get your rocks off or whatever, if that's how you have to be. I mean, I mean, it's obviously it's great to, like I said, have a nice, healthy relationship and stuff, but it's just, it's almost become impossible today to, really, and not even date women, but even talk to a lot of women and just have women that are close to you and friends. And, um, yeah, I mean, that's just how I am too. Like I said, I'm very to myself. I'm kind of just the Sigma male. I kind of lone wolf. I just do my own thing, because it's hard to even find the right people to have around you. I mean, it's just the way people are. And I don't like my generation, younger people generally. I'm generally around older people. I generally like older people because I'm just more of a, free spirit and old soul. And it's just, I vibe better usually with older people, and they resonate with me more because they know the old world and how it used to be. And I caught a glimpse of that when I was younger, and that's what I like, and that's my style. And I think for me, like, I'm more into usually like older women, probably in their like 40s and 50s, compared to these younger women now, just the way they are. And um, yeah, it's just this is this is a huge subject, and it's why, like I said, we're gonna get into this next week as well. And it's something that, like I said, it's become just too much of a epidemic, and it's just something that um needs to just be addressed and called out for what it is. I know there's people out there that have relationship channels. They talk about stuff like this, but yeah, it's just it has to. People have to start understanding that this whole thing that's been going on it's been an agenda. I've seen it my whole life. I mean, you look at a woman back in the 90s, early 2000s. They don't look anything like they do today. Completely different. The way they are, the way they act, the way things are is completely different. I mean, it's been a massive change, massive difference, and it's been going on for a very long time. And it's just it just kind of depends on what side of the pendulum you find yourself on. Some people, they were able to have success and make things work, but most people uh, have not, and that's just how the cookies crumbled.
Well, I appreciate how candid you've been, with what's been going on with you. And I will, I'll turn into a little bit of a guru daddy. Not that, my say is any, you know, expert position or anything like that. And I do appreciate your, you know, acknowledgement of what I would call an accomplishment. And I do agree with you that things are definitely difficult, especially when you have, you know, a very, maybe not strict, but like a rigid goal in mind for, your future with another person and how that looks like and what, those expectations between you guys, are set to be. Um, but at the same time, I've been out of the market for quite some time now. So this is probably dated. Um, but I certainly, I was never really a chaser. And you know, I think I thank God in heaven for, you know, whatever I had, it's not like it was clandestine. I had to work on my personality. I had to work on, who I was in order to, you know, I feel like I gamed the system a little bit. Uh, I was never like, I mean, I had my time where I was a little chunky boy, but I was always in decent shape. And I had the makings of what a girl might find attractive. That's all fine and good. But I also saw that that is not any kind of guarantee. These things are not guarantees that, the let me rewind that just a little bit and give you like physiologically and like hardwired the hardwired things that you're thinking about from the 90s, that like the idyllic thoughts you have from the 90s. I lived them, I was born in
Yeah.
1990, so I got to see them, up close and personal, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Pre Britney Spears, the world was a much better place. Um, but the wires are different now. They're,
Oh yeah.
imagine you're the bomb squad. You're sweating bullets right now. There's like 8 different wires. There's like fuchsia now. It's like, holy shit, it used to be blue and red. Now there's like fuchsia, cyan and aquamarine are right next to each other, and they're telling you to cut the light blue cord, and you're like, what the fuck? Which one? But no, I mean, there, you know, pe- I know men have changed, and we can speak about what those changes are. But for women, it's or for girls even, because like I said, this is a little bit dated. I'm thinking about when I was in high school and just out of high school and those types of times where interestingly enough, like I kind of like self-imposed, I guess, celibacy, but I never really had plans on when I got a girlfriend that my goal wasn't to like sleep with them. When I first started like dating girls, that you could call it, I wasn't, I liked girls because of, I don't know, different reasons. It's like maybe it would have been an eventuality, but I wasn't the kind of person that was like thinking about it or honing in on it. Um, but as far as girls go, yes, the status quo is much different, especially from the 90s. Especially, I mean, that's far removed from the 90s now. and those Britney Spears kids are now Britney Spears adults who have, that your choice of pickings are those those byproducts. But my point behind this is I never chased, and yet, you know, I was able to make it through, and I guess I'll just, I'm not trying to be, and there's no sense of bragging in this at all for me, by the way. Even when I was like talking to my homies back in the day, I wasn't ever one to like kind of like brag about exploits, if you will. And I wasn't very exploitative, if you either. I did my thing, I guess. But anyway, the women are just like all that stuff you said is true to where you're talking about, socioeconomical, and they need the money, they need, certain looks, they need certain this, certain that. But the one thing I'll kind of push back on is that there is still a sense of individuality within that, because there is a baseline for almost everybody. But there's also exceptions to those rules. But let's not talk about the exceptions, because that's, not how generalities work. But as far as like the general versions go, I don't think that I think you're maybe, you know, like I said, this could be outdated, but I do think you're a little bit pessimistic as far as like what you self admitted to is like there was a time where you were like searching these things out. I that I to me is your only mistake, because really where I found my success was in I don't know. It's really brains over brawn type of deal. It's not to say I was weak or anything. It's just it was for some reason. I mean, let's just take it all the way back. When I was, when I started school in third grade, I was homeschooled up until then. I taught my sister a lot of how to read and how to do math, and she's 2 years older than me. I was just a super quick learner. I picked up everything really quickly. And I also, I had to take a test before I got put into school, because I didn't go to first or second grade. And, I was at a fourth grade level, and probably, I think I was higher than that, but they just decided to put me I got to choose to either go to third or fourth grade. I just chose to go to third grade to be with people my age. And in doing so, basically, I don't there's like the smart assy kids in school. There's like two different versions of them. There's like the nerdy one that's like just overtly nerdy, and then there's the one that you can kind of like parlay that into being cool. Like there's like a rebel aspect to it. Well, I like kind of perfected that little style. And so there what I'm trying to get at is there's multiple ways to attract, or at least garner the attention of the opposite sex. And for one, I wanted to point out your take on, the modern woman, and especially those your age. Let's say they've done secondary education, at a 4-year institution. That's rough. That's rough. That culture there is very geared, it's very high, it's sex high school. High school is already doing that stuff, but like college is like, come on, let's do it. Let's really do it now. And then also go to class in the morning. Pretend,
Yeah.
it's still walking down the halls, it's still the walk of shame, all the, all the things the movies portray. My point being is, you get these post college experience chicks, they have some semblance of, more than likely it wasn't the nerd they hooked up with. Let's be honest here. More than likely they hooked up with an athlete, or and someone with some status at that institution. And that comes with an expectation, that places an expectation. Just say your first your first lay is Shakira, it's just like that's gonna be rough for the second one. You know what I'm saying? That's just gonna be a little rough. But so my point being is like the like physical checkbox is kind of already checked. And so that's why you get these like that's why you get a more of a push for the checks that aren't there. Was was Terrence the all-star, you know, run cornerback, was he like loaded? No. In fact, he like, as far as sport, if he doesn't get into sports, he's basically, just gonna be in debt after school. But he's balling it as it is. Right now he's balling because he gets to, he gets the privileges of being, on the squad, and he doesn't got to go to class as much, and he doesn't, he gets automatic passes. So it seems like he has this like route to the future. The problem is that girl is not in his future to him. So she gets to experience him. And so she doesn't want that anymore. She might want the physical aspect of it, but she's already had it. What she now is shifting towards is the, I guess you could say, somewhat the emotional side, but also just, the caretaking side. Not to say that all women just want to be taken care of. I'm saying like they want, equal or better type of things. And then there's the extremes that want everything and all of it. And but let's keep on generalities here, because we all know that these whatever podcasts and all these other things, these are extremes. I'm not saying that it's not getting more common, but that's still like doesn't mean it's the common thing. I would say more than those people for sure are somewhat level-headed people that have some semblance of like reality and self-evaluation, and understand who they are and what other people are, and can, anyway, they understand somewhat their value as compared to other people's. But anyway, you get this like value weighing society too. That's the other issue. I have never thought about that one time in my life. It's all over YouTube for what feels like a decade now, but I have never met anybody that acted that way. I've never seen it play out that way with other people that I knew who were in relationships. They've always been natural. Like in one way or another, they've been natural. Now I've been chased, and I know that girls will act differently to get something that they want. I know that for a fact, and I know guys do too. I'm not saying these things are almost always interchangeable. What I'm saying, the other side will do the same thing. I'm saying as far as you go, I wouldn't put like too much stake in the idea that you can't find this, like it's like this is some like impossible task. You already what's great about it is you're already self-aware. You already know, you basically given yourself the best prescription is to focus on yourself. And I
Mm.
also got to continue to push back on this, because I think I've already done this one time before. If we go in the archives, or it was us just talking to each other. But dude, you're 30. You're good. You're good, dude. I'm not saying to just put it on the furthest, don't put it on your second stove's back burner. Keep it on the back burner, but you got time, dude. You got time. It's warming up, but don't act like it's already cooked already.
Right, right.
You got plenty of time, and the time that it comes with is, here's the thing. If you were to spend that time searching and trying to make yourself what you think a woman wants, then you're going to miss the woman that wants you, for you turning yourself into you. That woman, she's not going to see you, because she's going to see what you think she wants to see, rather than what she wants to see, which is you. And you don't want that girl anyway that sees what you want her to see. You want the girl that sees you anyway. So, and trust me, this is, from experience, and you get caught up, and it's easy. I say it's easy for males. I'm sure it's somewhat easy for females too. I think it's, easy for females to get caught up, and less easy for them to break away, because that's just how I think things go. Um, but that's not to say it's easy for guys to like break away either. That's not what I'm saying either, especially when that barrier has been broken down. But but as far as like working towards something, you're already on the right track. Just keep, you got a new job coming up, you have different things lined up. Don't make it about money, but if it's something that you worry about, and not worry, but if it's something that see fit to improve in your life, yeah, keep improving. As long as it's improvements, just keep going on things, and there's a puzzle piece that'll fit eventually. And the best part about that is if it doesn't, you're the best you by the time it's all said and done, and
Right.
you're not gonna want that stuff it's very interesting how the world works. Your 20-year-old self could never talk to your 35-year-old self and understand each other's. I could have never just like sat down and explained my 20. I mean, I could try. Now, and I wasn't unreasonable at 20 either. I really wasn't. I was very moderate for my surroundings, I would say. But I guess my testament here is that, I tried to lead in that I didn't have to chase. I understand that some guys do feel like they have to chase, but that doesn't mean that they should. I really don't think that they should. I've seen that fail, and I've also been on the other side of it. You know, the few times I've overextended, and those times still haunt me. Of course, I laugh about them now, but at the same time, it's still like a shiver in my laugh. I'm like, oh, oh, that sucked. Oh God, don't ever do that again. Oh my God, that was stupid of me to do. Stuff like that. So you, you don't want to have regret in anything you do anyway. And yeah, I would say the path you're going is already pretty well laid out by yourself already. Don't
Oh yeah.
try to don't try to, pull an audible now, and to the same idea, like don't put too much stock in what you see right now, because if you're not searching for it, you're not gonna find it. And in this instance, I think that it's a good thing to not search. I'm not saying, and probably in any other
Right.
part of life, it's best to, you should do your due diligence. But in this, I really don't think it's worth it. I think, I think what it does is it breeds desperation. And
Yep.
whether or not at the finish line has a girl on your arm or not, I think you would be much happier knowing that you were never desperate, and you were never, uh, I guess that's the best word I can come up with right now, but that you were never desperate for it, and you were never, compromising in order to attain it.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't even care if I never go on another date again, as far as I'm concerned. And when I was younger too, that's how I felt. Like, I'm like, well, I want to, start young and build with someone, and build up. And that's kind of, the world was going away from that at the time, and things were shifting and changing when I was 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Like, that was something that was like on its way out the door, coming up early and starting early with someone, and, doing things early and building and stuff like that. And, um, yeah. And it's just, like I said too, I mean, just the way, like, the modern females even look, like, it's just, I'm not even, I mean, like I said, I'm 100% straight. I like women. I like the women's bodies and everything, but it's just like nowadays, it's like, you don't even see that many attractive women anymore. Like, I used to see, you used to see good looking women, like, oh, this chick, she's got a nice body, she's got nice feminine features, she looks like she could be a porn star, a prostitute or something,
Huh.
but then now it's like, they all got these big gauges in their ears, and they just destroying their bodies. They look more manly. They're not attractive. They're just, the way they come across. It's just, they've changed so much. Like, I don't, I mean, obviously we know it's an agenda and everything, but I do honestly ask myself, like, what honestly happened to women? It's like, was it always this bad? It's like, again, I mean, it's just like, um I just there's just and even in the last few years, like I just see more and more. I mean, there are still good looking women and attractive women and stuff like that, but I'm more honestly into like women in their like 40s and 50s now. It's like the women that are younger, they just they just don't look as good as they used to. I mean, like I said, they're all tattooed up. They just look manly. They're masculine. They're just and some there are still some good looking younger women, but it's just become kind of just repulsive. I mean, it's just, and I know a lot of people too. I mean, like I said, I mean, I don't, I used to, I wanted to hang out with women and be around women and have a good time and do things. And especially since 2020 and COVID, I just don't really feel like I really want to really do much anymore. It's like I said, if I want to go have fun or do something, yeah, I can go do that. I'm a decent looking guy. I can go find a woman, but it's like, yeah, I mean, that option's always there, but I mean, it's not like I feel like I have to do that. When I was young, it's like, yeah, you're young, you want to do that, and um, but the world has just changed so much. I mean, when I was 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, the world is a different place. I mean, that's just facts. I mean, women were just different. I mean, that's just the way it was, and um, the way things are now, and the way the world's going. I mean, it's just like, um, yeah, it's just I like the way I've played my cards in my life. I could have got, it could have had kids with the wrong people. I could have got married, divorced. I could have really, fucked my life up. I could have did real stupid shit, and thankfully I did. I stayed true to myself and what I want to do and who I wanted to be and what I want to accomplish, and that's the way I look at life. I mean, I put myself first, and if there's no one else around, it's just me by myself. Well, I mean, that's fine. That's the way I like to be anyways. I mean, it's not like I need anybody. I don't want nobody. And that's a big thing for younger people too. I mean, that's the way I think what these younger guys need to understand. It's like, I know they kind of want the world that I had when I was their age. And I'm sorry, pal, you don't live in that world no more. And I do feel bad for these younger people coming in because, like, you're young, you have fun and do things, but also, like you said with like your son, how you don't want him dating or doing anything, and I think that is tremendous. I mean, I suggest he doesn't even probably date till maybe he's 30 and got his all this shit together and doing well, and I mean, who knows what the world's going to be like in 14, 15 years, but that's my recommendation. Patience. I mean, patience, patience, patience. I mean, I've said it before too. I mean, part of me does wish, like, did I wish I ever did anything, or should I? I mean, I could be a virgin, but at the same time, then I wouldn't have learned and I wouldn't have experienced things, and I wouldn't have had the understandings I do. And I just feel like everything kind of played out the way it was kind of meant to play out for me. And again, I think everyone's different. I mean, there's different combinations of people. There's people that are single, but they're great looking. They got tons of money, but they just don't have any success or anything with women. They're just, and they got it all, but for whatever reason, there's other people that are good looking, do have a ton of money, and they're married, having kids and relationships. And you got poor people, broke people that are dating and doing stuff. And I mean, I don't recommend, bringing kids in the world if you're broke and don't have anything. I mean, how are you going to afford the kid unless you're living off the grid or something? But I mean, I just think that we're living in a time where I just recommend, especially for men, to just kind of do what they want to do. And that's the way I've just went about my life. And to me, the last 5 years, uh, I've made the most progress and gains, and done the best being alone, just being, not even trying to date or do anything. And just, I wouldn't have had it any other way. And it's been the best thing for me, is just to leave that all alone and just, do my own thing. And I think that a lot of other people are starting to see that. I think a lot of people are taking that route. And I think it's something where it's going to be, I mean, it's hard to say what another 5, 10 years exactly looks like. I mean, and what exactly will come. I mean, and who knows? I mean, I say, I'm doing the things I'm doing now, but I mean, who knows where I'm going to be at the end of the year, a year from now, or 5, 10 years from now. I mean, it's just the way things are constantly changing. I mean, and constantly happening. I mean, I think a lot of people priorities and stuff are changing, and what people want to do are changing. And um, for me personally, just like everything I see on a daily basis, the people I'm around, things I deal with, and that's how I know like I'm on the right path. I'm doing things right. It's just when I just look around, I look at others. I mean, yeah, I don't want, it's like I see someone, oh, I don't care that someone's got a bunch of money or nice cars or got status. I'll take me any day before I take anybody else, because I know what I got. I got a mind that is unstoppable. And as long as you have your mind, um, especially having your mind in the right place and knowing what's up and what's real and what's actually going on, that's the way I think it ought to be. And I think that's the most valuable trait, especially for men and stuff, my age and younger and people coming up. I mean, because I just feel like there's way too many people that just they're in a bad spot. They're not doing well, and it's not just financially. It's all on all fronts. And I know I can struggle like mentally, emotionally at times, physically. I just injured myself and shit, and things can get bad. And I've been in real bad spots before, and I mean, you just never know where life's going to take you, and where things are going. And it's just like, um, yeah, I think dating and relationships are something that, and like we'll talk about too next, especially if King Richard joins us next week and
Hopefully.
get his take on everything and what he thinks about it all. But yeah, I just think it's something that's become very, very skewed. It's very, there's a big variance. There's big differences. There's big gaps in people right now. And there's people that are kind of on one side of the fence or other sides, or people are more scattered now. It's not the world that it was 30 years ago for sure. And it's something that, like I said, I mean, if this stuff ain't called out for an agenda, that's the one thing I'll say too, as we're getting, close to finishing up here tonight. But the big thing is, to me, it's like, there's too many people out here making these relationship and dating videos, and a lot of them will say the things I'm saying, they'll agree. But the big thing, they're not calling this out for the agenda that it is. I mean,
Mhm.
we're living out the all of this is because of an agenda. It's because of what has been going on my whole lifetime. And a lot of people just think that this stuff is just happening, or it's random, or they want to point oh, it's men's fault, it's women's fault, it's this, it's that. And somewhere along the lines, I mean, this stuff has to be called out for what it is. I mean, I've been calling it out for a very long time. It's just sad that it's not being looked at as the agenda. I mean, it's not just depopulation. I mean, it goes so much deeper. I mean, it's a very deep, open-minded subject, but it's something that, when you really look at it from the full picture, big picture perspective, I mean, this is what it all comes down to. I mean, because relationships, friendships, all that stuff, I mean, that's what makes the world go round. And that's why you have so many people that are, and not that, being alone to me isn't the worst thing. I mean, I say all the time, there's worse things than being alone. There's worse things than being dead. But there's so many people that are just, they're not seeing this for what it is. And they're just, they don't want to call it out. And people have to. I mean, people have to stop pointing the finger and stop thinking this is just random, or it just happened. No, this is being controlled. It's being contrived, and there is absolute 100% method to the madness. And you got to think it too. If people don't call it out, they don't figure it out. I mean, it is going to pretty much be a wrap for us, because yeah, they are not only pricing us out of everything, with money. And obviously, like I said, money is the biggest reason relationships and friendships and stuff like that don't work and fall apart, and people fight. But it's, yeah,
Even
it's an
families.
attack on all fronts, all angles. I mean, everyone is going through it in some way or another. And, yeah, I mean, that's just the biggest thing. And people got to just look at the big picture of it all.
Yeah, and I think that's becoming harder and harder to do with, self-awareness is at an all-time low, and it's only going to get lower. Uh, you have this artificial culture that's being pushed onto people that's
Yep.
really taken hold with the younger generation, which is going to be the older generation. When I say younger generation, I'm thinking of kids that are already, 16, 17. So it's like they're pretty much adults, and they're going to be making adult decisions. And not to say that an adult decision is the right one. I'm saying they're going to make decisions adults are meant to make, and they're not going to have that framework and basis of what they're supposed to do. You know why I know they're not going to? Because I didn't have it. Because they didn't give it to me, and they haven't been doing it. You know, you know, it's just like you say, like it's getting worse and worse as far as uh these generations and what they have to work with for all their technological savvy, and they have, they're not cooked. They have skills in certain areas, and the way the world's moving a different way, and I don't think it's right. um it'd be amazing if just like the flip of a switch happened and all the 17, 16, 15, 16, 17 year olds just decide what what's farming all about. What?
Yeah.
I play all these farming simulators on my phone. What's it actually like? Let's go learn how to do that. And then it's just like rebel against technology. That's never going to happen. Uh, so, it, the re education of the world, it really does take a push from a group of youths coming up with ideals, usually passed down to them through authority figures or older generations, or parents, obviously being the biggest one. And we're losing our grip on that because people aren't even having kids, like they're not even trying to have kids. They have and you think about the good people. You remember the beginning of Idiocracy? Have you seen that movie?
I think I've heard of it. I might have
Okay,
seen
well,
it.
at the beginning of the movie, I'll spoil a little part of you for it. It kind of explains how the world gets into this like dystopic trash world, but it's futuristic, like super technology, but it's ran by retards. Um, and it's like explaining how it got there is because of course, this is a movie just taking digs on mainly white people. But it shows like the trailer trash couple, like you were just mentioning, the people that don't have it, they're having, you know, 8, 10 kids. And then you have this like moderate couple who are super well together, you know, of course, college educated, not that that shit should matter. But as far as, how they're put together, they have a good head on their shoulders. But because of that head on their shoulders, they see the way the world is, and they see the struggles, and they see the ups and the downs, and they're not ready to bring a life into the world because of that. So in doing so, they wait too long and they can't have kids, and they die with their names. Their lineage dies. Meanwhile, you have the 8 and 10 kids have 8 and 10 kids, have 8 and 10 kids, have 8 and 10 kids, and the world becomes idiocracy according to. And to an extent, of course, they're making fun of us. They're to the elites. We're not. We're all you could be the moderate couple that you're still in the pigsty. You're not you can be the fanciest pig if you really want to think that way, but you're still, you're not the rancher. So at the end of the day, you're still bacon. Uh anyway, it's to an extent it is how it's working, because you have them geoengineering the world to appear like it's a death trap. And it's a death trap because we are allowing it to appear as a death trap. We're self-fulfilling the prophecy. It's just like, like the example I just gave. Okay, so you have your common swine, your potbelly pigs. Even them can be formidable. But then, there's some hogs in there too. There's some, we got quite a few, like, what do they call it? Razorbacks? There's some real fighting pigs in there too. And they start doing the numbers. You start looking around, you start counting the numbers. It's like, wow, we got 1,000 Razorbacks. There's 4 ranchers. They can't watch even a quarter of us. They can't do anything, but we're not thinking that way. We still have yet to come together and stop thinking that we just see the swine. All we do is see the pot bellies and say, "Oh, there's it's no use. Oh, it's just no the world's declining. It's self-fulfilling because we can't like break out of the mindset that we can't do anything about it. We don't do anything about it. And for these, generations that are not going to have children because of the way they see the world, they're screwing over the world from being able to change. They're the very people that are actually causing the doom, the ones that are afraid of the doom. So I know we're short on time these in these coming weeks, and we gotta we want to leave some juice on the orange to squeeze for next week. That's for sure. I mean, this is a orange that just you can just
This
keep
is a Florida
squeezing.
orange.
Yeah, this is a peach, baby. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I won't. We won't dig it into the dirt. We got lots to cover with hopefully Rich next week. He has, like I said, he's penciled us in for next week. So hopefully we have our second, our recurring guest, Richard, our second time he's on here. And I'd still love to make it more of a more often thing between, because he really is just one of the cool dudes in the community that it's just so easy to talk to him, and you can just tell he has that like vibe that you could easily hang out with him in real life. Of course,
Oh
he
yeah,
took.
he's ahead of his time for sure.
Oh yeah. And like you said, he's very young too. So he's gonna be able to,
Yeah.
we're gonna have, God forbid we get Zach in here too. Then we're gonna have four, we're gonna have four levels to talk about, and four different angles to speak on, and really trying to, open up this sandwich and see what's inside. But anyway, thanks for sticking with us. If you guys want to get involved with the conversation, please do in the comment section or in the scrolling email, or, put yourself out there, and potentially we can have an open link for when we go live, for when we start recording, and maybe we can have a couple guests, have the key. Just hit us up on, if you guys have something to talk about regarding the topic of relationships. And this is a broad topic. Like we haven't even punctured the skin yet. We're I had never even talked about family. This is a gift that keeps on giving, really, and we want to
Oh yeah.
cover as many angles and see, really take a subsection so we can kind of, grow, and we can begin to understand certain things that we might not understand if we're just, walking around only seeing what we see and only hearing what we hear and only feeling what we feel. We might not understand a greater, story on unraveling. That's my take on it. Any closing words?
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, it's an interesting time for us too. Like I said, with these shorter streams, and maybe like I said too, like you're saying, people getting involved and stuff, more people get involved, and um, maybe we'll start doing, a little bit smaller streams, start doing, just 2 hours on the mark, and like I said, if more time, in the upcoming months and stuff, we maybe start doing, maybe we do like a 2 hour and a half stream, and then maybe we do like another hour 30 minutes or whenever people during the week or something, or start maybe mixing things up, or if other people want to join, or
Mm-hmm.
just kind of being more flexible with things as well, just coming up with different ideas. Yeah, it's an interesting time. It's going to be an interesting week here coming up, and yeah, I think tonight was a real solid blast. I mean, it's nice, it should give people a lot to enjoy, just over the 2 hour mark, and gave people a lot of food for thought. And like I said, this is a topic we've talked about in the past. We brought it up a bit. I've said some of the same things before and kind of went more in depth, I think, tonight,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, and we'll continuously do that. And this, like I said, this is a topic you could pretty much talk about all month, and pretty much uh just nitpick it here and there, because there's so much you can talk about with this, and it is such a huge thing to talk about, and always add more and go over other things about it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, hopefully yeah, if we get King Richard on and get to talk to him and stuff again. It's been a while since we've had him on, and since we've had it, he's been our only guest so far, so yeah, I'm just looking forward to the future right now, seeing how things go, where things go, and yeah, it's pretty much say that's it. I think we had a real solid night tonight, and I think opened a lot of people's minds and gave people a lot to think about one way or another for sure. And hopefully, yeah, I know there's a lot of people out there that resonate with things we've said, and they find themselves on, like I said, one side of the fence, and either side, and yeah, it's yeah, people, like I said, give if people got feedback or things for us or whatever. I mean, let us know, leave a comment or email or whatever, and yeah, just trying to get more people involved. And I think, like I said, relationships. You got our followers.
Yeah, and these things do, they have to start somewhere. We can give our you know, our story about, how we came to, befriend each other over and over again, but it really is just a testament to, you know, it takes it takes people putting themselves out there, either one or the other or both. And if you stay in your shell and you don't take that opportunity to do something better and for yourself or for somebody else, then you can miss out on something, really fruitful for your life and for the future. And but yeah, so we'll leave it with that. And yeah, like you said, just the scrolling email is a great way. It's always pinned in the description, as well as just, leave your comments and let us know how we did. Let us know what you want to talk about. Leave anything really. But yeah, with that being said, everybody have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week, hopefully with special guest King Richard. So look forward to that. And he'll I'll also post his this in the description as well if you want to check him out prior to that, because he has a lot of great stuff on his channel. So yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll hit you up next week. Later.
Peace.